Good morning, Freeride fans, and welcome to the 2026 IFSA Junior Freeride Series Championship here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. My name is Wyatt Gentry.
My name is Rachel Shannon, and before we get started today, we would like to give a quick land acknowledgement. Kicking Horse Mountain Resort is located on the unceded lands of the Secwepemc and Ktunaxa people and the chosen home of the Métis people of BC. We want to give a huge shout out to our brands that make this live stream possible, that make this whole event possible. So thank you to Helly Hansen, Head Tyrolia, Giro, 3M Thinsulate, 3M Scotchguard, GoPro, BCA, the IFSA, and Kicking Horse Mountain Resort.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without them.
So Wyatt, why don't you give us a little rundown on what's happening today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are here for our U19 ski and snowboard men finals. Yesterday was our finals day event, but unfortunately due to weather we were not able to make it all the way through all of our categories. All of our athletes qualified on Monday, and now we are here to watch them put down their finals run here at Kicking Horse.
Absolutely. Yesterday was quite a bit gnarly with the weather. It was super windy. It was really cold. Certain flat light was coming in and out throughout the day, so the technical director had to make the difficult but correct call to move the rest of the competitors to today. So we will be seeing finals, as you mentioned, for U19 ski men's and women's, as well as U19 snowboarders.
Yeah, and today's weather is definitely looking a lot more promising. We've got blue sky behind white wall, which it was a very big white wall yesterday, and I think we're going to see a show go down.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great day to see the sun, to feel my toes, to see the athletes get super excited to compete today, and we can see them up on the ridgeline right now too, which is really exciting. So we're super thrilled to see what our U19 athletes have in store today.
So, Rachel, did you have any highlights from yesterday from our first half of finals?
Absolutely. There were some really solid airs that I saw. And, the venue is large, but it feels very consolidated. And I really enjoyed seeing the creativity that a lot of athletes put. I saw lines that I was like, wow, I didn't even think about skiing over there. So it was really cool to see a lot of the creativity that was captured yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of my favorite parts was watching all of our U15 athletes put down some big lines on a very risky venue in not great conditions. There was a couple times where athletes were dropping yesterday where I did not want to be on that venue, or I knew that I wouldn't want to be on that venue, because these airs, there is no definition out there, and they were putting it down like it was nothing. So it was absolutely incredible.
It was a lot of really brave skiing and riding that we saw yesterday, which was really exciting.
Yeah, I saw a few people go over to the Bermuda Triangle area where you can look up there right now and see there is large moguls, big traverse marks, and they skied it like it was a flat groomer.
They really did, yeah. Watching some of the runouts where they were just absolutely cooking to the bottom was so exciting to see, just that sheer speed and force behind their turns.
Yeah, and unfortunately there were a few people that did go down because of the flat light, but we're glad to say that they were all okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Luckily, we had a really safe competition yesterday, which was exciting. So all of our U15s got to go yesterday, and our U19 snowboard women were able to complete their finals run yesterday as well, which brings us again to our U19s today. We will be running a dual panel again today. However, we are going to start off with just our U19 snowboard women single panel in order.
Men.
Excuse me, snowboard men. Thank you, Wyatt.
Yeah.
In order to keep our original start list intended. So we'll be starting with a single panel for the U19 snowboard men, and then once we pick up into our ski men, where the start list had originally taken off, then we'll go back to our dual panel.
Can you explain the dual panel?
Absolutely. So dual panel, we have two sets of judges, a panel A and a panel B. Each panel has 3 judges per panel. And while a panel A athlete is skiing, the panel B judges can score their athlete and vice versa. So it really just creates nonstop action all day.
Yeah, and it sounds like our judges are ready, and our first athlete is actually dropping in.
And our first athlete of today is going to be Severin Richard from Ski and Snowboard Club Vail. And he's on course right now.
Yeah, he is already skiing or riding down White Wall. moving towards that single Jenga block, moving down the middle of that chute.
Really dynamic turns he's making up there. Looks like he's lining it up right now. Catching a little air to his feet and really setting the tone for today's day of competition here at finals.
Looks like he's lining up the bottom Jenga block here.
Getting ready to point off the side and take it to his feet. Really solid landing there.
Little bit of a control issue there, but no problem for Severin. He's moving through it, continuing on through the bottom of our debris field here.
He has a really strong stance behind his snowboarding that I find really fun to watch. He feels very strong and comfortable on his board.
Yeah, it looks like he's moving powerfully through the venue.
Absolutely, catching a last air there on the debris nugget, and into the corral he grows. Congrats to Severin for setting the tone for today.
First athlete through the finish corral.
All right. All right, it sounds like the judges are just getting ready to judge our next athlete. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the 5 categories athletes are being judged on?
Yeah, so every athlete gets judged on 5 categories. It all starts off with your line score. How the line score is built is every single air and technical section you ride or ski through builds your line score, adding it up, and it all starts at, and it can get up to a 7 is our highest line score you can get. And then on top of that, there's 4 other categories. You got control, technique, style and energy,
fluidity and
and
style.
fluidity.
Yes,
Oh.
absolutely.
It's been a long week.
It's hard to put all of them together, but Wyatt, you're absolutely right. That is how the scores are based off of. So as you mentioned, each athlete with every feature that they hit is grabbing a numerical point value for their line score. And then their rider level, which is the overall impression of their run, how fast they're going, the amplitude of which they're riding at will contribute to their rider level, which determines how many points above or below their line score they can go.
Absolutely, and really how I see rider level is the aggression you take and attack that mountain.
Absolutely, and you can really see it with the riders where someone comes in really hot and fiery in their line, and while they're not being scored on their time, the speed at which they're taking their run is considered in that rider level and in their fluidity category as well.
Definitely, and I think the most important category beyond the line score is our control and technique. Those ones really define the riders. If you are riding down this venue fast and fluid, but you're not in control, that means your technique's not good either. So they all kind of balance off of each other, and that's what finishes your final score.
Absolutely, and I've mentioned it a couple times throughout the week. Is my favorite part of Freeride is it is this blend of technical strong skiing and a freestyle component. So super exciting to see what the athletes are doing today. Our next athlete is Noel Savagot from El Colorado in Chile.
Alrighty. And he is coming over the cornice now, working him well into the top of our white wall venue here. Lining up in air and keeping it clean as he moves down through the venue.
Yep, linking that turn back around. Looks like he might be headed for the Jenga Tower. Really the meatiest section of our venue, I might say.
Yeah, and something that we will definitely see today is a little more action on the Jenga Tower because there are more sections open to our U19 athletes than they were for the U15 athletes.
Absolutely. That's something the technical director determines is features are open for which age categories. So
yeah.
U19, a little bit older, a little bit more experienced. They can open up some of the larger, more consequential airs. And here comes Noel skiing between the Jenga towers, grabbing an air off that bottom block there and riding it out nice and smooth.
Yeah, cruising through this bottom section here, moving into our debris field.
The hardest part of the venue behind him, and he can really just cruise some turns, stay nice and balanced on his feet, and just show off, like we were mentioning, the amplitude of the rest of his line.
Absolutely.
Looks like he's going to catch an air off that debris chunk there. And Lincoln
Catching every debris chunk he can.
Bottom. With the grab into one more with the final grab. A successful run for Noel, our Chilean rider, loops it into the finish corral. Alrighty. So again, we're going to run a single panel till we're back to our original start list. So our next athlete is going to be Tristan Bummin from Palisades Freeride team. And with finals, they're going to run in the reverse order of how they qualified in qualifying run. So that means the athlete with the highest score in qualifiers will go last for each division.
Yeah. How I see it as whenever I'm an athlete, qualifying first on day one, it definitely puts a target on your back, but it also gives you the advantage of going last of your category, watching all the other athletes you're competing against hit what airs they're going to hit, and maybe even hitting your airs, being able to judge if that air is safe or if there's a different trajectory you need to take. And that is another part of us having a live stream, is they can watch it at the top, and which is very exciting for all the athletes.
Absolutely. And this morning they were all given an inspection run, so they were able to get up to their features, take a look around. However, inspection protocol calls for very mellow skiing and riding. You are not allowed to air your features. You are not allowed to practice your full line. You're really just getting a closer look at what you want to ski. And therefore, a lot of these athletes are hitting these features for the first time in competition.
Yeah, especially the ones that are not from around here or this is their first year competing.
And, you know, Kicking Horse has quite the terrain here. It's just such an incredible resort. All the staff has been so accommodating. We're so thankful for all they've done to make this event happen. And, you know, not only has Kicking Horse been helping us out with this event here, but they've been hosting 8 years of Freeride World Tour events here as well. So they certainly are no stranger to Freeride.
They are no stranger to Freeride as we sit here next to the infamous Ozone.
Absolutely. What a gorgeous place to sit back and be impressed by some athletes today. So Tristan Bummin is getting ready to drop in. And here he is on course.
Airing off the cornice. Moving in towards the top of the Jenga block tower section. Catching air again. So 2 airs already. And he is only just partly way down the course.
Absolutely. Coming in with a lot of strength here through the chute between the Jenga tower and the Lone Rock as he makes his way into the middle section of the Jenga tower.
Yeah, and taking those airs up high is really showing the judges that he does have that high rider level.
Some nice technical turns as he gets ready to line up his approach.
With a massive 360 off of the Jenga tower. Little control issue in his landing, but that's no problem for him because he is now moving fast out of that run out.
Absolutely. What an exciting trick to throw off that feature, too. I can't even imagine going for something like that on one edge. So really impressive courage out of Tristan. And he is safely into the corral. The crowd is loving it. Which means we have one more athlete in our single panel, panel B, before we roll back into dual panel. And our dual panel will kick off with the U19 ski men.
Yes.
And so then we'll move one after another. U19 ski men, U19 snowboard men, and then once the snowboard men finish, panel A will roll back over to ski women. So a lot of parts moving here to keep dual panel happening, but it really allows us to have as many athletes as we can in the competition today.
Yeah, lots of more action and more excitement for all of us.
Absolutely, and we've said it a couple times this week that JFC is the largest freeride event in the world with almost 290 athletes competing over the course of the week.
Yeah, and 290 athletes is so many.
It's so many athletes. It's so impressive to just see, everyone come from not only the different regions in North America, but our Chilean riders, our Argentinian riders, really properly stretching from Alaska to Patagonia.
Absolutely.
And speaking of our Chilean riders, our next athlete is going to be Wesley Sims. Oh, excuse me. He's from Fort Collins, Colorado, Eldora Mountain. I thought I saw another El Colorado there, but Wesley Sims coming to us from Colorado. He was first in the Telluride 3-star this year. And wants to give a big shout out to Angel Ski Shop and his family and friends.
And it sounds like our judges are ready for Wesley. Wesley is dropping in out of our start 2.
And we're watching from the bottom there. Now we can see him as he pops
coming just up over the ridge. Catching air off that corner.
And here he comes around our huge rock field as we see Wesley back in view, linking some nice turns, getting ready to pop another air to his feet.
Moving in towards the lone Jenga block here. Going right off the nose and stomping it.
That was really cool. He came in with the traverse, but then really dropped that feature fall line and just rode it out from there.
For me, it looked like he came in a little lower than he expected and aired onto that fin, but was able to keep his control and point it straight down.
That was a unique approach to that one. I really liked it. Seems like you said Wyatt. Maybe he had to do a little bit of quick thinking on his feet, but I think it played out very nicely for Wesley.
It almost turned it into a double, which will help his line.
Absolutely. That was some really smooth riding out of that top section of the venue. And it looks like he's going to come in for a debris nugget with the 360 there and wrap it into the corral.
I'm no snowboarder, but frontside 360s look harder to me than backside.
Yeah,
and that was impressive.
That is impressive. All right.
And we are now on to our panel B.
So we are next going to have Mac Bertelsen drop in. He's from Big Sky.
Coming out of start 1, airing off the cornice. Airing off that nugget right above the Jenga tower. And looks like we may have our first taker for the Jenga tower. Coming in off the side, airing over. Headed towards the wind lip with a huge 360.
Some really fluid skiing right now on a Mac as he heads into another air with another left side 3. And holding on nice and smooth, our first skier of the day.
Yes, that was a great run. That is from previous year. That was a classic run. That was a classic run from our previous years. Catching both the wind lips is a little bit difficult because you have to, depending on how big you go on the first one, it could change your trajectory off the second one.
That's a good point. Is that link between the two of them. You have to make sure that you're landing the first one in an appropriate place to be able to catch the second.
And we couldn't see it from here, but he caught air off the backside of the Jenga tower back into that chute.
Absolutely, and the judges are faced much further right and up on the ridge line, so they do have a nice angle of that backside of the Jenga tower, which we can't see from where we're sitting. So really smart line planning there by Mac.
And we're going to be going back to panel A with Noah Jones, an independent athlete.
He's coming to you from Bozeman, Montana, and rides out of Bridger Bowl. He wants to give a huge shout out to his mom and dad, and thank you to all of the Freeride parents that have been helping get their athletes here, preparing them all season, and just being part of the Freeride community.
And we also want to thank all the parents for pushing their kids towards freeride skiing because it really is the best sport in the world.
It really is. We may be a little biased, but
nope, not biased at all.
But safe to say, Freeride is the best. All right, and we're just going to hang tight for panel A judges to get ready for Noah Jones. And I feel like an easier day to compete today with the conditions being a little more mellow, the visibility being incredible.
Yeah, I would say that the conditions might be a little bit firmer in our runouts, but definitely a lot easier to see.
Absolutely. When I skied down this morning, I was like, all right, it's a little firmer than it was yesterday, but still exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, and it sounds like our judges are ready for Noah.
All right. Noah has dropped into his run.
He's working his way down the ridge, coming over the cornice.
Coming into his first couple airs up top here.
Airing off the top.
Catching a nice bite to his feet as he loops it back around towards the Jenga tower.
He's rallying onto the middle section of this Jenga tower. Coming through the chute.
Linking back to his toe side edge. Making another nice turn there.
So he's coming down to this lone Jenga block.
Maybe getting a little caught up. Looks like it might be a little spicy into that entrance, but nice and smooth to his feet on the exit.
Yeah, keeping it smooth out of the landing.
You know, it looks really chopped up on that top section, that lower block of the Jenga tower. So I think maybe it's a little harder to navigate than it may appear.
No, absolutely. And yesterday, running 100 athletes and lots of them going into that area is definitely going to change those conditions from when they inspected yesterday morning. With a nice big grab off that bottom block.
A successful run for Noah Jones, our independent rider out of Bozeman, Montana. All right, that means we are moving back over to our U19 ski men. Angus Blackburn from the Sugar Bowl Academy is next.
And he is coming over this ridge right now, airing off of the cornice. Catching air off that first nugget.
Coming in with some speed to the Jenga tower.
Looks like we got another taker, or this is going to be our first athlete to take off the center of the Jenga tower.
Oh, wow. With another air off the bottom block of the Jenga tower. It looks like maybe he got a little caught up in between. But, you know, that's the first athlete we've seen take that line because it was close to our U15 athletes yesterday.
Yeah, taking that as a double, it's a difficult line because that middle pad there is very chopped up and firm, as you could almost see from him, but he had no problem keeping it together with a 360 here at the bottom.
Awesome run from Angus. Another Tahoe Freerider representing. And now we will head back over to Panel A for Nick Way, our next U19 snowboard male. He's coming to you from the North Shore, Mount Seymour.
Almost thought it was Hawaii there for a second.
I know.
On North Shore.
And it sounds like we're just waiting for our judges from Panel A to get ready and fully geared up to judge Nick.
Yeah, that is one part of still having dual panel is sometimes our athletes ride fast enough that they are faster than the judges can judge.
Usually it balances out pretty nice, but absolutely sometimes it does take that extra minute.
And it sounds like our Panel A is ready. And Nick is coming out of start 2 today. And Nick is working his way down the ridge.
I can just barely see him poking out over the cornice there. Just trying to figure out when he will drop in. Coming pretty far, Looker's right here along the ridge line.
Yeah, I think he's gonna take a fall line approach to his line, catching a big air off the top of a cornice.
Catching some nice, smooth snow there, too. The snow looks really good as he catches another air there.
Yeah, this snow looks a lot better in this area. Actually throwing up a little bit of pow.
Another little bop there into some more fresh snow. You can see it kicking up from under his board.
Lining up a big air, doubling it.
Yeah, that was a really cool, unique approach to take off of one side and land on the back side of that other knoll there.
Catching another air off that fin.
Looks like he's really just enjoying this run here at finals.
I would be too if the snow was like that when I was skiing.
100%. Yeah, it definitely looks a bit softer over there on that Looker's right side.
And that's because there was less traffic yesterday in that area, and we had lots of wind that filled that in. Moving towards this bottom bump, catches some good air as he moves into the corral.
A successful run for Nick Way. Alrighty, and our judges are ready for our next U19 ski man, Jason Mers.
First East Coaster of the day, J Peak Free Ski and Ride team.
He says he's feeling super accomplished to just even be here at JFC. So really excited to see what Jason has.
And Jason's coming out of start 2. Airing off that cornice.
Nice clean air there over the top nugget.
Going up and over the Jenga tower here. Might have another taker for this fall line approach on it. Airing off that first block.
Really good control out of that because he's going to line it up for another one here and go absolutely massive to his feet.
Squatting out that landing. Oh, unfortunately, getting a little caught up in his run out. Keeping his skis on, though, so he's back on his feet and moving.
Yeah, it looks like that run out in that section specifically is just super bumpy.
Yeah, you can see some debris from when we had cornice, when our patrol was knocking cornices down before this sunny season.
Oh, but he has his arms in the air. He is stoked regardless.
Yeah, I think that looked like a little bit variable. It almost looked like he went into some softer snow there, and it kind of caught him up maybe.
And he really came out of that one with such speed, too, that, having that speed, it can be a little bit harder to control when something gets underneath your skis. It's a bit of a different feeling than you were expecting.
Yeah, and there is some debris in that run out, so unfortunate circumstances, but that is Freeride.
All right. So while the judges from Panel B score Jason, Panel A judges will be getting ready for our next athlete, snowboard men, Tianai Z. He says he likes to go by Jonathan, and he's coming to you from the Alpental Freeride team. He wants to give a big shout out to his parents, coaches, and friends. And why it's something exciting that we have about our judging panel is that it's a mix of skiers and snowboarders and men and women and people from different regions to really bring a vast variety of experience to this elite level of event here.
Yeah, they definitely bring a very good variety and different knowledge into this competition. And it sounds like our judges are ready for Jonathan. And he is skiing far right.
With some nice pops along the ridgeline there, it looks like.
Going to be our first rider coming over into the Salt and Pepper and Bermuda Triangle area.
Going high up along that mound there, far Looker's left.
Catching air off the top.
Wow, what beautiful control there. Oh no, holding on in that really steep section. That was quite the air he bit off from the top.
But he's ready for his next air, going big off the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle. Having a little bit of a butt check, but he is still on his feet riding out.
What powerful riding we're seeing from Jonathan. Oh, arms in the air, one more air. He is stoked.
Yeah, that section is very steep and not great conditions up there, so to make it through there, very impressive.
That was a really exciting snowboard run that we just saw. A lot of creativity in there. I was a big fan of that one.
And we have another Alpental Freeride team member, Cliff Rail.
I think maybe Cliff Ryle, but we're doing our best with the pronunciations. Cliff airing off the cornice and into the venue.
A very proper name for a venue like this.
Absolutely.
Lots of cliffs.
Living up to his name here as he comes in between the Jenga Tower and the Lone Rock.
Looks like he's going for the Lone Rock. Right off the nose, going huge and stomping it.
Absolutely massive there off that top shelf of the Lone Rock.
A nice, about as big as you can go off a cliff here for Cliff.
But he's not done yet because he's going to head over to the Bermuda Triangle. It looks like he might catch one more.
Yeah, looked like he was adjusting his goggles because that was a big air, but taking another big one to his feet.
And going to come in with some speed. So really intentional line choice there where, it looks like he took that Lone Rock with a bit of a cross-court trajectory so that way he could make it back over to the Bermuda Triangle to build some more line score points.
Oh, very impressive. That's a big air to be able to control your speed and then still make it down to this bottom section and catch another air.
Absolutely. Really awesome skiing out of Cliff. This is his second time at JFC, so I think definitely a name we will continue to see again in the future.
Yeah, that was a very strong line from Cliff.
All right, our next athlete, U19 snowboard man, Conley Rockefeller. He's coming to you from Driggs, Idaho, in the Grand Targhee Resort.
Like he's moving down the ridge.
Waiting to see where he's going to poke out. There we go. We got him. He's dropping into the venue here at Whitewall.
Airing above the Jenga Tower. Keeping it clean in that highly exposed area.
Another pop there, keeping it nice and creative in the Jenga Tower. Oh, getting maybe a little caught up there in his landing.
Good air up top, but looks like he landed on maybe a traverse track and it bucked him a little bit more than expected. But he's back on his feet.
Maybe not the exact execution he was expecting there, but Conley is back and into the debris field here.
Yeah, it's difficult to catch air like that and keep it, hold it, and shut down the speed as quick as he needed to, but
again, especially on a snowboard, I can't even imagine. Us skiers are lucky enough to have two edges to hold on to, but snowboarders are really doing it on one, which makes it all that more impressive.
I can confirm that I don't think I would make it off the cornice on a snowboard.
I don't think you or I would get very far on a snowboard there, Wyatt.
I think I could ride down the ridge. I could do their start of their line to the cornice drop in.
And yeah, that's about as far as we would make it. So huge shout out to all the snowboarders that are making freeride, big mountain riding happen. All right, we will head back over to Panel B, U19 ski man Henry Lance. Henry's coming to you from the Alyeska Freeride team. He was 5th last year at JFC, and excited to see what he's going to do for us today. And Henry is on our start list as our 92nd athlete. Even though this was broken into 2 days now, we have 144 athletes in finals. So Henry, 92 of 144. I think we're going to see some quick action today from our U19 athletes.
Definitely. And he is getting ready to drop in now. Coming out of start A.
Nice air off the cornice.
Going huge off that nugget.
Yeah, that was quite a long jump that we haven't really seen much of that trajectory from that one yet.
Catching the transfer over the ridge, which is really impressive, and moving down the ridge here.
Clean technical skiing through that top section, coming into the salt and pepper area.
Skiing super fast and controlled, classic IFSA skiing. But he's moving into our Bermuda Triangle, looking like he's popping a massive 360 over the whole thing and stomping it.
Coming in with some speed to the corral.
Floating so high in the air there.
That was a really impressive maneuver over that Bermuda Triangle air. That did not look easy to do.
And that is not an easy line, and getting that speed correct was so important for him, because if he came up short, he's landing on rock. If he went too big, he'd be landing in the transition. So that was very impressive.
All right, our next athlete, U19 snowboard man, Kaito Devine, coming to you from Park City Snowboard.
And he is coming over the cornice and working his way into the top of White Wall.
Huge shout out to his mom, dad, his coach, Miles Auclair, who's here with him today. Kaito's such an incredible snowboarder. He's had a lot of really solid results over the past couple of years. Catching a nice air there above the Jenga tower.
Working up above the Jenga tower, down that backside where we can't see.
We see him poking just a little bit around the Jenga tower here.
Looks like he's going to do the wormhole back into the bottom section of the Jenga tower.
Into the meat and chop of this section, too. It is not smooth and easy to navigate in there.
No, that is very technical terrain there. Lining up this bottom Jenga block.
Huge, clean air to his feet. Not even a bobble on that one.
No, and he is moving fast out this bottom section, holding it together. Catching air off of all the bumps. But it's no problem for him as he rides into our finish corral.
I can hear him screaming from here, his stoke. He's so proud of himself. That is so exciting to see. The athletes just feel so proud and accomplished of what they've done.
Definitely. I mean, they've worked all season to get to here, and then on Monday they had to complete their first run in qualifiers just to make it to finals of our Junior Freeride Championships.
100%. It takes a lot to make it not only to JFCs, but to make it all the way to finals. So really exciting to just feel and be so proud of themselves as they deserve to be. Very, very excellent.
Also, he qualified fourth.
Yep.
So he's in that top tier of the first day of riding.
Yep, and again, our athletes are running in reverse order from how they qualified. So the athletes with the highest point will drop last today in their division. Next athlete of the day, Dean Haynes.
Another Alyeska Freeride team member. I'm wondering if we're going to see a similar line from him or if he's going to take his own approach on this venue.
I know, it's really interesting to see the way that the athletes get to choose their rundown and how they want to execute it. They really are given the venue, given the closures, the things they can't hit, and said, all right, with what's open, show us what you got.
Yeah, and there are some friends or team members that'll pick similar lines and work on it together, and then there's other ones that will go their own path and just have their coaches help them and figure out their lines separately.
Yeah, each athlete really has their own style to not only their skiing and riding, but also how they choose to approach the competition. So we're just waiting to hear word from our judges here that they will be ready for Deans. Deans wants to give a big shout out to his dad, who is his main sponsor, and his mom, who is his biggest supporter. And we have quite the crowd here at the finish corral today, too. They're definitely showing up, enjoying more of that sunshine beach vibe today, and ready to watch the show.
Yeah, all the parents that were here yesterday definitely having that strong mentality to watch Freeride, and anyone here to watch. Today's a little bit nicer, more of a beach vibe.
Yeah,
I prefer.
a bit easier to enjoy as a spectator when it's a little warmer as well, too. So the vibes are high today. The athletes are stoked, and we're now 93 athletes into 144 of finals.
The judges are ready for Dean. Coming out of start one. And he is dropping off the cornice now. Moving towards this first nugget here. Popping some nice air above that lone cliff.
Coming in some smooth turns. Take her for the lone rock.
Taking off the side of it. Moving back towards the Jenga tower. Stacking his line score as much as possible. Going huge off the bottom Jenga tower and catching transition at the bottom of it.
Wow, he really took that upper section of that Jenga tower as a lip for his air. That was wild.
And now he is straight lining straight into the finish corral.
Coming to a nice controlled stop in the corral, which is what the judges want to see. A really clean run out of Dean. All right, our next athlete, Caden Clausen, coming to you from Mammoth Mountain.
Caden coming down this looker's left side of the ridge, working his way into the top section of white wall.
He qualified third to be here in finals. Big shout out to his dad, who is helping out on the live stream mic. Caden with a nice air there to his feet.
Working his way towards this cliff.
Another air to his feet there. Caden making some strong, calculated riding.
Now he's working into the salt and pepper section above our Bermuda Triangle.
Nice hop turn there in the salt and pepper section.
Really working his way, showing his control.
Really navigating exactly where he wants to take off for this Bermuda Triangle section.
Yeah, scoping his takeoff, catching air, and riding smooth out of that landing on that apron.
Nice controlled turns as he comes into the bottom. Smart decision making there from Caden.
And making his way into the corral. And we are going back to panel B with Ronnie White out of Olympic Valley Freestyle and Freeride team.
Ronan placed fourth at Kirkwood this year. Also wants to give a big shout out to Helly Hansen, one of our main sponsors here at JFC. Couldn't make it possible without them.
And our panel B is ready for Ronnie. And he is dropping in the middle venue. Aaron in off the cornice. Working his way back towards the center of our venue. Popping the 360 above Lone Rock. Stomping it and keeping it clean out.
Coming into the Lone Rock here.
With pace. popping off the side and working his way back towards our Jenga tower section.
Navigating through the chop so smoothly. We know it is not easy there.
With another 360 off that bottom Jenga block. Squatting out that landing, but keeping it in control.
And now he just has to successfully navigate the debris field, and he will have a clean run behind him.
Yeah, skiing fast through here, but keeping it in control. Lining up our bottom debris chunk with another 360 straight to his feet. Into the corral.
A nice run out of Ronan, our Olympic Valley freestyle team athlete. Alrighty, our next athlete from Panel A is going to be Devin Perry, an independent athlete, but a local nonetheless, coming to you from Golden Kicking Horse. All right, we are just waiting for the judges on Panel A to get ready for Devin, which means we'll have about 45 more athletes after him. And again, that dual panel, really rapid fire, making the event go as clean and successfully as possible.
Yeah, and as we didn't finish yesterday, this is going to be probably our smallest field of athletes so far this week.
I think it'll be a quick one, especially because these U19s are moving with such pace through this venue here at Whitewall.
And judges are ready for Devin.
Start two. Dropping far riders left. Bib number 217. 217. Dropping in.
All right,
He's dropping out of start two, going down the ridge.
Our second qualified athlete here in finals. Devin making his way along the ridge line and waiting to see where he will pop out onto the venue.
Our local boy, let's see the take he has here on Whitewall. Going all the way down the ridge. Maybe he knows something we don't.
He might be hunting for that good snow far looker's right.
There's lots of venue being untouched over here with a big 360 off the cornice and taking it straight to his feet.
Really enjoying that soft snow over there, it looks like.
And he's going straight for the triangle. Going with another humongous 360 to his feet.
Wow, that was clean. What a unique approach to the venue. You know, we've seen a lot of the athletes stay in this concentrated section, but Devin really took a, creative approach to that one there.
Yeah, not as much exposure on that side of the venue, but really showing that there is potential of massive free ride and style and energy over there.
With a final tweaked out grab to wrap it all in.
Those might be our two biggest errors from a snowboarder today.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed watching that one.
With two huge spins, that was a very clean run from Devin.
All right, our next athlete, U19 ski man Cole Erickson from Alyeska Resort. He's been at JFC every year he's been competing in U19.
And I love our Freeride fans. We've got a fan out here with a chainsaw making noise as he cheers on the athletes.
What a funny community it is here at Freeride.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's from Alaska.
Maybe he is.
I'm guessing either Montana or Alaska if he's from the U.S. Those are my two guesses.
Two guesses. We'll have to ask him after.
And our judges are ready for Cole. And he is coming out of start 1. Our looker's left start, the black flag.
Dropping. Here comes
Aaron
Cole.
straight off the cornice, moving with pace right into the top nugget with another huge air.
Coming in with some speed to the Jenga tower section.
With a big 360 off that tower section. Going straight off the bottom one, getting bucked.
Oh, yeah, it looks like he just did not have his balance for that, unfortunately.
And he got a head tap, so he is okay, but yeah, looks like he took that 3, didn't quite have everything under control there, and there was a little bit more lip than he expected and got bucked into that back seat. So unfortunately going to have a no score.
Yeah, that'll be a DNF for Cole. I did not finish, which when an athlete does lose a ski, they will not receive a score.
We can see that he is hiking up to grab his own gear, so we will not need a ninja on course, which will help us keep this event moving. Yeah, it is difficult in that section. Lots of athletes working their way through that, making it a little bit firmer and possibly different than when they inspected it this morning. So,
absolutely. You know, the venue looks so nice from where we're sitting here. Definitely see some choppy sections, but I do think it's not as forgiving as it may seem. So we're going to give Cole a minute here to gather his things and ski down.
and Cole's got all of his gear now, so he is working his way into the finish corral with a massive spread eagle into the finish corral. But we're going to go right back up to the top with Caleb Gibbs from Ski and Snowboard Club Vail.
Caleb is our final snowboard male, which means he qualified first in finals on Monday.
And he is dropping in now out of start 2, but going straight into the venue, airing off that cornice.
Nice clean air there from Caleb. You know, he won JFC the last 2 years in a row, so I think we're going to see some big things from him today.
Especially coming in first place to finals, so catching air right there, and he's just working his way into the meat part of his line.
Absolutely. Catching another air there, living up to the reputation that he's been holding so far.
And he's just keeping it super clean, showing that he has high control as he works into the salt and pepper section.
Navigating some smooth turns here through salt and pepper.
You can say he's taken off the corner section of that Bermuda Triangle and just keeping it very smooth and clean as he works his way down into the bottom.
Oh,
having a little bit of a butt check after hitting some chunder, but he is into the finish corral, our final snowboarder of the day.
Yeah, he was coming out of that with some speed. Caleb Gibbs, the Snowboard Club of Vail.
And our panel B is ready for Sam Wilson.
Sam is an independent athlete, but he's coming from Wanaka, New Zealand, out of Treble Cone ski area.
Aaron off the corners, heading straight into this first nugget with a big 360. Catching another air up above the Jenga block. See which approach he takes onto it. Going straight for the center nose punch. Riding the spine down into it. Losing his feet, unfortunately, but back on his feet.
But it looks like he made a really controlled, smart decision there to kind of drip off the side. Because, you know, as we mentioned, that area is choppy. There is quite a large cliff there. So, really, you know, smart decision making out of Sam.
Yeah, popping a little right 360 off that nugget. But, yeah, that is the difficult part of that cliff is it is a double. It's fast, but a lot of people work through there, making it very icy.
Another 360 for Sam. You know, he was first this year at the Taos Junior 3-star, so really earning his way here to JFC throughout the season.
Yeah.
All right, which means I'm sure it'll be just a moment before we head back to panel A for our first U19 ski female. It'll be Callie Abbott from the Smuggler's Notch Ski Club.
He wants to do a big shout out to Flylow, Grass Sticks, SNSC, and her parents.
Big shout out to all our Freeride parents again that have come here. It's been so great getting to meet so many of them and mingling with the community, putting a lot of names to faces, and just everyone that's helped making Freeride happen.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Just having a sandwich.
How was it today?
Maybe Toby Love.
Toby Manable.
And our panel A is ready for our first ski woman. They had to take a few minute break there to switch over their judging notes to the skiers from the snowboarders.
You know, as a judge, it really does take a minute to switch over from one sport to another. It's all freeride, but it really is a separate sport. So it takes a minute to kind of redirect the gears back into skiing, and they are ready for Callie.
Change your brain thoughts of how it's venue can be skied. And we have the drop-in call as Callie works her way over that ridge top, airing off the cornice.
Our first ski woman on venue today, East Coast representing Smuggler's Notch.
As she works her way over the Jenga tower section through this Jenga chute.
Nice turn there. She comes into this super chopped up section here, middle of the Jenga tower.
Looks like she's going to bite off the corner. Oh, nope, going straight for the nose of the bottom Jenga block and stomping it.
I'm going to make some smooth turns out here.
And working her way down through the debris field. Being very methodical with every turn, making sure she doesn't hit any of these chunder balls.
Methodical is a good way to put that, Wyatt. I like that. You have to be very intentional with where you're going there, too, because it's not easy to navigate through the debris. Callie catching one more air there and going to loop it into the corral. All right. Our next athlete is going to be Austin Cornacchione, coming to you from Winter Park and Eldora.
And he is dropping in quick off that start two cornice, lining up a right 360 off that nugget.
Austin wasting no time as he comes into a new area here that we haven't seen yet today and going massive.
A little bit of an impact in that landing, holding it together. A little bit of a control loss in that run out, but back on his feet.
I think that was one of the largest airs we've seen so far today.
Yeah, he actually skied switch for a minute there, so showing his control in the run out and just working his way out the side. Might have had a knee to the face in that landing.
Yeah, definitely showing through some body language that, he's moving, he's still okay, but maybe not the success he was hoping for.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to be a little bit sore tomorrow after that impact. That was you could tell that his knees went straight to his chest or face, so.
Absolutely, but
he's just working his way into the corral now.
He seems stoked. He had an arm in the air, so we know that he's okay. All right. We will then head back over to U19 ski women. Elodie Prohaska will be our next athlete to drop. She says her favorite thing about the freeride community is that it's the right combination of competition and fun. So another beautiful blend that freeride is providing to our community. And Elodie's coming to you from the Telluride Ski and Snowboard Club.
She is on venue, catching that first nugget, getting some air. As she works her way over on top of our Jenga tower section. And now she's coming into the Jenga chute.
Putting nice clean work through that chute there in the Jenga tower, but not
going for this lone Jenga block down here at the bottom. Going straight off the nose and stomping it clean.
Really clean air to her feet there. I like the way she had just like a nice drip off and a solid landing. That was really fun to watch. Good.
Yeah, that air almost seems like the best landing is right up underneath it.
Good use of trajectory there from Elodie as she cruises into the corral and just going to make some nice smooth turns and all the way to the bottom. All right. Keeping our competition moving, Elodie was our 103rd athlete of 144. Felipe Carpenter will be next. He's coming to you from Mont Tremblant and won the Gore Mountain 2-star this year and wants to give a big shout out to his mom and dad. I believe he's our only athlete from the Eastern Canadian region here at JFC, so really representing our far northeast region.
Just showing his home love.
Absolutely. During our opening ceremony, we brought all the athletes out from the different regions up onto the stage, so really exciting to see them all represented and Felipe holding it down for Eastern Canada.
Let's see what he does to this venue.
All right, he is dropping off the cornice to his feet on venue.
Going for the left side 360 off that. Riding out smooth.
Real smooth, making another turn here into the Jenga tower.
Taking off the nose, but being very smooth with his turns, trying to keep that controlled so he can go straight over the bottom Jenga block with another big 360.
Wow.
Stomping it out. Maybe a little bit of squat in that landing, but he is moving fast out of that run out.
That was a huge three he took off that bottom section there. And not
really popped hard.
Oh, yeah. Arm there. He is so stoked on that one.
360s working down that venue.
Really, I like the way he spins, too. He has this nice floaty approach, good open lead arm. That was really fun to watch.
And we are going right back up to Ava Evans out of Grand Targhee Ski and Snowboard Foundation. And she is working her way down the ridge.
She said she was top 5 in all of her comps this year.
Aaron off that cornice.
So some consistent results here for Ava. Coming into the Jenga Tower now.
As she works towards the top of the Jenga Tower. See where she takes off here. Maybe going to work down that spine. Back into the chute.
Coming back into that choppy section of the Jenga Tower.
Really lining up this bottom air. Going off the nose. And stomping that landing.
Catching another air off that debris chunk there. And linking it back around to another one. Last air for Ava as she loops it into the corral. Her friends are waiting for her at the bottom. I hope she is so proud of that run.
And our next athlete from our ski men will be Lucas Baldwin out of Altabird Freeride.
Lucas says he's proud of all his competitions, and that's something that we've heard a lot of our athletes and coaches say is that, you learn something from every competition, whether it's a success or a fall. It all contributes to each athlete as a freerider and what they learn from each moment and continue on in their freeriding career.
Yeah, the crashes I think are more important than your successes. Just showing that you can bounce back from a big crash and finish your competition and come back and do it again.
And when I was coaching, that's something that obviously we relate to that in skiing, but something that's such a valuable life lesson as well is that you're going to crash, you're going to have moments that don't go as you planned, but coming back and tackling that head on is not just making great athletes, but making great human beings as well.
Absolutely.
All right. And it sounds like the judges are just about ready for Lucas. Going to wait for the final word. All right. Judges are ready for Lucas. It sounds like he maybe just got to the start.
Called right on time.
Right on time. I think I heard over the radio that he's just clicking in now. So gonna click in, take a deep breath, waste no time up there on the ridge, and get down to business.
Yeah, our athletes do have to do a very short hike up to the top of this ridge from the top of the lift, but sounds like he's ready to drop in right after his hike.
149. Yeah, Lukey, come on, bud. 149 dropping.
Hey, coach.
2, 1.
Dropping.
Dropping in straight off the cornice, heading towards our top nugget feature with a big 360.
Massive. Holding it back together as he comes into the Jenga tower.
I think we're going to have another taker for the Jenga double. Riding down that spine, really using his time to control his speed and go straight off the side of the Jenga tower. Huge!
Wow.
Stomping it.
He had a different approach to some of the other athletes we've seen go through that Jenga section. He kind of dripped off and then looped it back around to continue that same speed into the lower block.
I think that might be our most fluid double Jenga hit And another big air off that.
All right, Luke is wrapping it into the corral. I'd say that was also one of the faster runs that we've seen so far.
And that's what it's going to take to bring it together today, is keeping it fast, clean, and smooth.
Really successful smart riding and skiing we've seen out of our athletes so far today. All right, our next athlete, Argentinian rider, Constancia Silveira, coming to you from Cerro Bayo, Argentina.
And she is working her way down the ridge over the cornice.
Dropping into the venue, our Argentinian rider representing with some nice turns here on the white wall face.
Coming over that rock above the Jenga tower, she works her way down the side of the tower into that back area where we can't see.
Again, we can't see it from where we are, but the judges have a clear view of that side.
She's going to go work through the wormhole and air out of the wormhole into the lower Jenga tower section.
Oh, maybe getting a little bucked and bit of a slide. You can see she's trying to get her below her.
I'm going to do a stop.
Okay, we got a helmet tap, so we know that Constancia's okay. An unfortunate ending to that section there because she had such nice grace as she came into it.
Yeah, very difficult in that section with all those traverse marks and big drops.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably getting even choppier throughout the day as the athletes go.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know Freeride Argentina is so proud to have her represent the home country here. They've been working so hard on growing their region, bringing a lot of successful events. Las Leñas was super fun down there, so huge shout out to Constancia and Freeride Argentina.
And our next athlete's going to be Ian Tuttle from the Bridger Ski Foundation.
Ian Tuttle, yep, from Bridger Bowl, wants to give a shout out to K2 Skis, Oakley, and Columbia. We have a little bit of a cloud here hiding the sun, but I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to move nicely. And, you know, even though there's a little bit of a cloud, the light is still so much clearer than it was yesterday.
Yeah. Even with the cloud, the venue is looking a lot better, being able to have not as much flat light on this white wall venue.
So only about 50 athletes left today.
We are really moving through them quick.
And we've got some exciting things happening after the competition. Not only are we going to do the event awards today, but also the overall series awards of the whole junior series this year, 2026 IFSA Freeride. And you know, the IFSA has been putting on a little bit of a show to showcase the exciting history that comes out of riding here at Kicking Horse.
I was about to say, I think missed the best part.
And we're going to have a mechanical bull competition for our junior athletes that comes from this event called Wrangle the Chutes that used to happen here at Kicking Horse. And we'll circle back to that one because it sounds like the judges are ready for Ian Tuttle.
Aaron off that cornice, cruising straight across, gapping over the ridge, but shutting it down to come back to this cliff on the top of the ridge as he airs into the chute. So 3 big airs to start off his line.
Not done yet with a 4th there up and over that wall ride. That was huge.
Biting off every single thing he can as he works his way down through the salt and pepper section into our Bermuda Triangle area.
Really stacking that line score.
Coming out and doing a big 360 over the whole thing straight to his feet as well.
Talk about a clean spin. That was really impressive skiing out of Ian. He bit off as much line as I feel like he could. Huge floaty 3. Not done yet.
With a right side 360 this time into the finish corral, spinning both directions, showing that control, and he is stoked. That was a very strong run from Ian.
That was, I think, one of the smoothest. That I'm putting a little star next to that one because I really enjoyed that.
To be honest, he does come from my home coach, Simon Lyons, who couldn't be here due to being sick, but
Shout out to Simon.
Shout out to Simon Lyons.
Oh, love it. Love to see the full circle in the freeride community. All right, our judges are ready for our next athlete, Tegan Cates, coming to us from the Kirkwood Freeride team.
Bib 6, dropping in 3, 2, 1, dropping.
Representing Kirkwood and Tahoe Freeride. I got to meet Tegan a little bit this year, and she is just absolutely so sweet, such a kind soul. And here she is making some nice turns on this upper section of the venue.
As she works her way above the Jenga tower.
Nice little pop there off that nugget. Really controlled, intentional skiing into the Jenga tower right now.
And she's working her way onto the backside of the Jenga tower, airing into the chute there, catching transition, and coming back towards the bottom section of the Jenga tower.
Ooh, coming back up, yeah, to another clean air to her feet. Ripping some turns here through this midsection as she enters the debris field.
She works into the debris field, showing off her control as she works down to the finish corral.
Oh, arms in the air. She's so stoked. We can see it in her skiing.
I hope our cameraman got a good photo of that. He's halfway up the debris field there. She pointed right at him and gave some stoke.
A little shifty there for Tegan. A successful run for our Kirkwood Freeride team athlete. And we still have quite the crowd has gathered here too. Even more spectators than the last time we checked in. So lots of people coming out to support our final day at JFC.
We promise this is the last day.
And what a great day to wrap up almost 2 weeks of competition, starting with our challenger athletes last week, going into 4 back-to-back days of competition here for JFC. It's been quite a bit of freeride here this April.
Yeah, lots of freeride, and big thanks to Kicking Horse and all of our volunteers making it happen. We couldn't do it without any of them.
100%. Yeah, the live stream crew rallied again today to bring you this show. So we're so thrilled that whether you're watching here in person, at home, supporting your athletes wherever you may be, thank you for tuning in.
God damn. Take a nap up here.
Yes, sir, bro.
All
We're
right.
Going back to the top for Ryan Lapp out of Palisades Freeride.
A popular name in freeride too. Ryan has had some really successful events over the last couple of years.
And he's coming out, fist in the air. Nice air over the top.
Smooth turns here from Ryan. So he comes into the Lone Rock.
Going straight off the top with a cork 7.
Wow.
Moving it to his feet. Oh my.
That was quite the trick there we saw off the Lone Rock.
And he's already all the way down to the bottom. maybe a small butt check in that landing, but after a cork 7 to that
But
was
barely.
a huge trick
Wow.
to throw.
That, yep, I would say is a first from what we've seen.
And his friends are so stoked for him.
That was wild. You know, so I've judged Ryan before, and I know the amplitude of skiing that he has in him. And I was thinking, you know, a little bit of a mellow top section for him, but that's because he was really saving it all for that cork 7 on the Lone Rock. That was huge. So impressive. Big congrats to Ryan. I hope the judges like that one, because the crowd is stoked.
But we are straight back on venue. Zoe Chase is already on top of the Jenga Tower.
Zoe's coming to us from the Steamboat Springs Winter Sports Club. She's coming up onto the Jenga Tower. Nice, smooth control here so far from Zoe as she comes into this chute. Spits it out nice and clean and loops it back around. Zoe coming into this lower block of the Jenga Tower and going massive to her feet.
As she stomps it and keeps it moving quick out of the run out.
Oh, the hardest part of the venue is behind her now. Going to catch a nice air off that debris chunk with the spread eagle and keep looping it into the bottom. One more here for Zoe. Coming in with a nice grab, and she's going to loop that into the corral. A very successful run from Zoe Chase.
Yeah, very clean run there for Zoe. Yeah, I think the judges are going to have to take a minute after Ryan's 7 there. My brain still can't get wrapped around how big that was.
That was huge. And
heavy move to be thrown.
Over consequence, too. It wasn't, just over a windlip. He really did that cork over a cliff.
Well, and another thing that is very difficult for everyone to understand is that corks off of flat takeoffs like that are so hard and normally end up being very flippy because of the way you have to throw it. And he was very controlled with I think he kept his feet below his head. So we'll have to see what the judges think, but that was a very impressive move.
I'm crossing my fingers for that one, too. And as we had mentioned over the last couple days, juniors are not allowed to invert, meaning their boots are not allowed to go over their head or they will receive a disqualification. So as you had mentioned, Ryan, being able to cork it while being super intentional with keeping the boots below the head on a flat takeoff is not easy to do. So the judges will take a minute to finish scoring Ryan, and then we will jump back in to our U19 ski men, Panel B, Cardin Tomic, coming to you from the Whistler Freeride Club. Cardin wants to give a big shout out to Helly Hansen, Giro, and his mom and dad. And he was 4th in Junior Worlds, so some successful skiing from Cardin so far in the past.
Yeah, Junior Worlds is a very big feat just to even qualify for that.
Absolutely, and the top athletes from our U19 divisions will qualify for Junior Worlds for 2027. Well, the exact number of athletes is not disclosed yet because that's coming from Region 1. We do know that the top athletes will go and also be crowned the winner of the Americas Series as well.
Which is another huge feat in itself. Yeah, Junior Worlds is held over in Kappel, Austria the following season as long as all the athletes are under the age of 18 or not 19
And
yet.
Wyatt, it sounds like you might have some experience at Junior Worlds.
I competed there twice in my junior A's.
Oh, that's so exciting. How old were you when you went?
My first year I was 16, and then the second year I was 17.
So exciting. So some personal relation to the event there from Wyatt as we get ready to drop Cardin in now. Here he comes up on the ridgeline.
Aaron off the cornice. So he's going to go for the transfer air, popping huge, but shutting it down back onto the ridge. for this big cliff back into the chute.
Similar line to what we saw Ian Tuttle do, too, coming in nice and massive off that wall ride.
And skiing super fast and fluid, holding it all together. We'll see what air he takes off this bottom section of the Bermuda Triangle, going for a different trajectory than Ian, but going absolutely massive.
That was huge. Really one of the bigger airs we've seen from that Bermuda Triangle.
And popping a 360 over the roller. Very impressive there.
That one felt like it was just for the stoke, that final 3.
Oh, absolutely. And that was a big air off of that. There's a big lip right there.
Alrighty. Judges are ready. Next ski female athlete, Ellery Zanto from the Palisades Tahoe Freeride team.
205, dropping in 3, 2, 1, dropping.
All right, she is dropping in out of start 2, airing off of the cornice almost directly.
Controlling her speed again to catch this nugget up top.
Going right fall line off of it. Holding it together as she moves into the Lone Rock.
Coming up to the Lone Rock and pointing it off the side. Little bit of a backslide, but it is not going to phase Ellery.
I don't think that was a backslide. I think that was just a little bit of a backseat landing.
Maybe more backseat. You're right, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Good call. But again, not going to phase Ellery because she is on the move and into the Bermuda Triangle.
She's finding her trajectory off of it, pointing it straight off the nose, stomping it into the landing.
And then going to keep it nice and clean here through the bottom. She certainly bit quite off a bit of her line score there.
Yeah, holding the control to take the Lone Rock and still make it to the Bermuda Triangle. Very strong control there.
Oh, the crowd loves it. They are so stoked to see Ellery put that line down. Which means we will head back over to Panel B, U19 ski men. Our next athlete is going to be Soren Frick.
And as we move through the day, we only have roughly 30 athletes left.
We are rapid fire here with dual panel. It's only about 11:30 here at Kicking Horse, so making really consolidated use of our time here in our finals day at JFC Championships.
And I do think that our judges are going to take a little bit more time with their judging today, since we do have that extra time with the smaller field of athletes today.
Yeah, I'm sure they're really going to be super calculated because, you know, these U19 athletes are really just putting on a show for us today. So we're going to hang tight for just a minute while we wait for the judges to get ready for Soren.
And our judges are ready for Soren to drop in.
Soren coming to you from the Bridger Ski Foundation, skiing out of Bridger Bowl.
Coming out of start 1, airing off the cornice, going deliberately straight for that top nugget.
Another air to his feet, starting off his run nice and big.
Moving fast towards this cliff here, popping it in, but controlling his speed so he can air back into the bottom of the Jenga tower and move to the bottom Jenga block, going big off of it.
Really carried consistent pace through that whole Jenga tower section. Look at him ripping some carves here in the debris field.
Yeah, not letting any of the chunder get him caught up. and keeping the fluidity at the max.
Yeah, I'd say that was one of the faster runs we've seen. Nice left side 360 there for Soren, and he's going to wrap it into the corral.
Yep, I would hate to be the judges today because all of our athletes are putting down incredible runs here.
Absolutely. Do not envy them today. We have seen a lot of clean, successful lines from our U19 ski men, our U19 ski women, and our U19 snowboard men, but we are not done yet. Ava Strott will be our next athlete to drop. U19 ski women. She's coming to you from Big Sky, Montana. Big Sky Ski Education Foundation is her team. Alrighty, our judges are ready for Ava.
And she is dropping out of start 2 straight into the venue.
Erin off of the nugget there and making some nice, clean, carvy turns into the Jenga tower. Or is she coming up to Lone Rock?
Looks like she's going for the side of Lone Rock there. Unfortunately, not making it over that transition, losing her skis. Trying to self-arrest here.
All
and
right.
She's got a head tap, so we know she's okay.
So while we know Ava is okay, she had a head tap. Her skis are a bit further behind her, so we are going to send a ninja down to help her out, and we will be back to you momentarily.
There's nothing like the thrill of discovering a new ski spot, but you can't underestimate the challenge.
Okay,
Simon. Go left at the beginning, then right. Let's rip it.
That's why you need someone by your side who knows the terrain, no matter how experienced you are.
That was a good one.
Let's do it again?
Yeah.
All right, Ava is safely back down to the bottom. And our next athlete from Panel B is going to be Owen Yarnold, dropping in now.
Coming out of Whistler Freeride Club. Popping a big 360 off that top air.
Coming up onto the Lone Rock here. Catching some nice air off the side.
Going with a huge 360 off that bottom Jenga block and stomping out that landing.
Coming in with some speed here to the bottom. That was quite an impressive maneuver out of Owen.
Yeah, moving quick there.
I think he's got one more here for us on the debris block.
Just a big poppy air.
Big poppy air. We love to see it.
Yeah, and a very fast run. Got a big 3 up top. Getting onto that lone rock, doubling it into the finish or into the chute, and then popping a big 360 off that bottom Jenga block. Very clean run there.
Absolutely. Whistler Freeride Club athletes are showing up. So that means we are next going to move into our Panel A athlete, Atlia Hassedoffer. She's coming to you from Crested Butte Mountain Sports Team. All right, coming out of start 2.
As she comes in over the cornice, dropping in straight to the top section of Whitewall here.
Adalea coming in over the nugget there, making some nice turns in the top section of this venue.
Looks like she's working over towards our Jenga tower. She's going to take the skier's right side of the tower through this chute here, getting some hop turns, maybe getting a little caught up in that tight section.
And you know, even though that type of chute isn't an air, it's still counting toward line choice because the judges know it is difficult.
Yes, and she's moving all.
Adalea coming out of the final Jenga block and going to boost it across and rip another turn back around. Coming in nice and smooth to the corral, wondering if we have another taker here for our final debris chunk. She's going to rip right around and bring it into the corral.
And moving straight into the finish corral as our 117th athlete out of 145. And our next athlete is going to be Nico Santelices from the Jackson Hole Ski and Snowboard Club, skiing out of my home resort.
I heard you think Jackson might be one of the best resorts out there.
I don't think it. I know. And just so everyone knows, we are winning the Snowbrains March Madness Resort head-to-head.
Ah, okay. So big Jackson Hole fan over here.
I mean, we're in the finals against Jay Peak, so not to hate on Jay Peak, but we're going to win.
You know, I remember at the beginning of the season this year, Jay Peak had the highest snowfall in all of the U.S. I think it was like running through December.
Which is
really,
unheard of.
East Coast deserves some of that love. So,
oh, absolutely.
As a former East Coaster myself, you know, I'm a little biased towards them over there as well. So,
yeah, definitely.
But all of the exciting resorts. And that's, something we've seen a lot of these athletes say on their bios is that they love getting to travel to so many different resorts and see so many new places that they wouldn't necessarily get to go without the competitive nature of the IFSA and Freeride.
Absolutely.
Do you have a favorite resort that you've gotten to travel to, Wyatt?
I have a couple, but this is definitely one of them. Here at Kicking Horse, it's just got such great freeride terrain, and it's just so vast that I do love it at this resort.
I was going to say the same thing, too. It's my first time here at Kicking Horse, and there's just endless freeride terrain. It's been so exciting to, turn a new corner and constantly be like, wow, there's an entire new line that you could put down over there, and just quite a variety of options here.
Absolutely.
So we're just hanging tight to wait for the judges to be ready for Nico. And I think we're getting word right now that they are ready.
And he is dropping in now, airing off of the cornice, moving fast through that top section, airing over the ridge.
Staying nice and controlled as he enters this section here.
Going with intent towards the top of this cliff. Aaron back into the chute. Looking for the side hit here. As he pops, has to spread his legs to not land on rock there. So big control there.
Some groovy surfing up along this wall here in the salt and pepper section.
Popping over every air he can.
And looks like we have another taker for the Bermuda Triangle.
Pointing it straight from way up there. Going huge and holding it together in that landing.
Wow, yeah, it looks like he didn't quite hit the transition he was going for, but really did a good job of pulling that back together.
And Nico actually, I do know this because I got asked by him what size boot I am. He broke his skis in his qualifying run and still qualified for finals.
Wow,
both of his heel pieces ripped out of his bindings as he went into the finish corral.
That's so
but kept
wild.
it held his feet in his skis.
So clearly he got some, new gear to make it here at finals. I hope he had.
He had to go buy new skis at the shop and get them mounted up for finals day.
Well, he didn't list any sponsors, so if there's anyone out there that wants Nico, he is open for it. But we are heading back to Panel A, Allie Ward from Stevens Pass Freeride Team.
She is on course, airing off the cornice. Popping over the nuggets, getting a double there.
A double nugget.
Adding everything she can to her line score as she moves over our lone rock. I think she's going to take the side trajectory off of it.
Huge air there for Allie. That was, I think, the first ski female we've seen take it fall line like that.
Absolutely, and she already had her arms in the air as she skied out of it, so she's stoked on that. But she's not done yet as she moves into our Bermuda Triangle section.
Oh yeah, really maximizing her line score here, heading over to the other section of the venue to grab some more points here, popping over the Bermuda Triangle to her feet.
Now holding it together in this run out. This Bermuda Triangle section really looks like it has a little bit better of a run out, a little smoother than the other sections, which is definitely a reason to go over there.
Oh, arms are in the air. Allie is so thrilled with that run, and it looks like the crowd is too. A successful run for our Stevens Pass athlete, which will bring us back to Panel B for our next U19 ski man, Hunter Evans. Hunter's coming to you from the Whistler Freeride Club. So not only did they have a great showing here at JFC, but a great showing at finals as well.
Apparently his friends call him Papa Eagle. So he's got a little bit of that Eddie the Eagle spirit in him, maybe.
I love it. Yeah, we've asked the athletes to list their nicknames, and there's some that are quite funny.
I think he's going to have to take that Eddie the Eagle spirit into this run. I'm guessing he's going to go big.
I hope so. It's been so fun to see all of the athletes that are really just showing off what they've worked all season for. Alrighty, judges are ready for Hunter. He's going to drop out of start 1 here.
Coming in straight off of the cornice as he airs in, going towards our nugget air, hopping the left side 360 with the pole plant.
Controlling his speed again to get back over to Lone Rock, it looks like.
Going straight for the nose, stomping it smooth, and working back to a humongous 360
Wow.
to his feet.
He had to, really kind of find his balance in the air there for a second, it looked like.
That was, I'm going to have to guess, saying a little bit more lippy than he was expecting because that bucked him, but he held it together and controlled that into his landing. That was an impressive run there.
I mean,
from
that
Hunter.
was huge, and he landed that to his feet. So, yeah, really getting that eagle vibe in there. Congrats
I
to
am too.
Hunter.
I saw the legs spread for a second.
All right, bringing it back over to Panel A, Alexa Yang from the Aspen Valley ski team is coming up next.
She's on
She's
venue.
on venue. Excuse me, I looked down for 1 second, and these athletes are just so fast. Alexa here making some turns into Lone Rock.
Taking that same air off the side. Losing her feet a little bit there, but
Unfortunately, getting a little caught up. It looked like she was really trying to head into that lower section of the Jenga tower, but Alexa, back on her feet and making some turns into the debris field. In Freeride, they really do have to put it all on the line because they only get one run. So it's so hard to stay so consistent. But Alexa giving us one more spread eagle just for the vibe, and into the corral she goes.
well, the other thing that our junior athletes have to think about compared to our Challenger Series is they have to do a qualifying and a finals run, where in our Challenger Series, it is a one-run competition each event.
Absolutely. So there's a bit of a different strategy there, I'm sure, when you have, these back-to-back events, back-to-back days that are in the same event versus, like you said, Challenger Series is 3 separate stops.
Yeah, and well, if you put everything on the line in your qualifying day, you can end up in first, but you're not done yet, so you have to do it twice. So the results are come by a little bit more difficult.
And as we were saying before too, that the scores of your qualifying day and finals day is cumulative. So it's important that these athletes are staying consistent in both days. And the rankings can change around quite a bit after the end of the second day. So just because someone's holding on to that top qualifying spot right now doesn't mean it's going to end that way, because we've seen a lot of really successful lines so far today.
And our qualifying competition had a lot of amazing skiing, so our scores were very tight on that first day.
They really were, and it was, so exciting. And that top 50%, give or take, moves on to finals. So those athletes that were in the top half of their division moved to finals yesterday and today. All right, we are just going to hang tight for just a moment for our Panel B athletes to get ready for Kai Hubbard. And it sounds like they are ready. Kai's coming to you from the Telluride Ski and Snowboard Club.
Coming off start 1, Aaron straight in off the cornice.
Looks like a nice 360 there over that top rock.
Getting a first one to spin that air. Taking off the lower knob. Another taker for the side hit, having to spread the legs in the landing to miss that rock.
Second person we've seen had to do that. And I think we have another taker for the Bermuda Triangle.
I just love how many different trajectories there are off this. I've seen 4 trajectories today. And another big air over the whole thing.
Ooh,
almost getting caught up in the landing.
I was going to say little wobble, but it did not phase Kai.
Yeah, it looked like it maybe a little traverse track that he landed in, but was able to hold it together, make it into this finish corral.
All right, a clean, successful run from our Telluride athlete as we move back into Panel A for Gabby Groslow.
She's coming out of Lake Louise Ski Club and dropping out of our start two.
Gabby,
and she is working her way down the ridge, airing off above the Jenga tower.
Coming in nice and clean to the Jenga tower, coming up on that top floor of the tower.
Airing over that whole fin section and just pointing it out.
Catching a huge bite, and yeah, she's coming out with some speed. You can see her absolutely fly through this middle section here right now.
Holding it together as she comes into our finish corral here.
And you know, I don't think we've seen any of our ski women yet take that exact bite that she took off the tower. That was massive.
No, went very large and kept it in control.
She was second at Kicking Horse and Panorama this year and third at Lake Louise, so a very consistent skier we're seeing from Gabby. And as you may have guessed, we will be heading back into Panel B, U19 ski men next. Davis Minahan will be our next athlete to drop. Davis is going to be our 124th athlete of the day, of our 2 days of finals, out of 144. So we really only have about 20 more athletes to go.
Yeah, we are moving. We are.
And we're going to hang tight for just a minute while we wait for the judges to get ready for Davis.
Yes, Davis, let's go. You got it, bro. It's all you, Davis. Go, Davis. You do you. You got it.
We're just a few from you.
You got this, Davis. You're a beast. You got this, bro. See it your way. You got it. Throw down. Yes, Davis. Let's go. Wait, so Pro is next.
Should I go lower lip or upper lip, you think? Yo, Mason. Yeah, thank you. Do you think I should go lower lip or upper lip for that one?
Dude, I think you should go the upper one.
Okay.
The lower one looks super bunky.
Alright.
But whatever you're thinking, yeah. I'm gonna go upper one for sure.
You got this, Davis. Let's go. You're gonna crush it. You got this. This is all you. Have fun. First time for You're gonna do so good there.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, our panel B judges are ready for Davis Minahan. Telluride Ski and Snowboard Club athlete, was first at Aspen this year. 3, 2, 1, dropping.
Airing in off the cornice, heading towards our same nugget air that we've seen a lot of action with another 360 straight to his feet. As Davis moves in towards our Jenga tower.
Another biter for that top chunk there. Wow.
Stomping it and going, getting a little bit caught up And unfortunately, sliding off the side, but looks like he's trying to work his way back up on top of that bottom Jenga block. At this point, he just really wants to hit it, I think.
I think he said, no, I just wanted to do it. So I support that because there he is catching his nice air.
Absolutely.
And you know, from where we're sitting right now, I can see the sun on that middle section of the Jenga tower, and it is chopped up. It is traversy and certainly not easy to ski through. So,
And getting huge air on this bottom one. Yeah, it's very difficult to tell. I have seen quite a few videos from before this firm cycle where people were hitting and still having hard time controlling it in soft conditions. So the athletes that can shut it down and control those double hit in these conditions is very impressive. We're right back up to the top with Kennedy Kokenauer from Big Sky Ski Education Foundation.
all right, Kennedy making some clean turns here in this upper section of our venue here at Whitewall.
She moves into the side of our lone rock, taking the corner piece as she moves underneath the Jenga tower towards our bottom blocks.
Kennedy navigating through that chopped up section. And looks like she wants to take a big bite here out of this last Jenga tower, and she does.
Keeping it clean and smooth out the bottom.
Gonna catch another styly little air off that debris chunk.
As she hits every little nugget as she can on her way down. Working towards our bottom debris chunk.
Clean run from Kennedy from the Big Sky Education Foundation. She said she's currently ranked 8th overall, so what a solid spot to be sitting in top 8.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely see a mix-up in our top rankings after this
I
event.
know, I'm excited to see the awards this evening and really see which athletes are going to. I think it's just being the most consistent all season.
Absolutely. I mean, that is really the answer for an overall result, is being consistent throughout your entire season, getting many top results. Doesn't have to be first place, just keeping it consistently. Even I think just top 5 is really how you get into the upper portion of our rankings here.
And that's something I feel, especially with our challenger athletes, is it's really just not only necessarily the best skiers, but it's the best mixed with the most consistent skiers that make it to that next level. Because, you know,
Absolutely.
we said you get one run, so it's not easy to showcase your best skiing in one run.
Yeah.
All right, we will move into our 126th athlete of finals, Nico Hudson. He is an independent athlete, but coming to you from Crested Butte, Colorado. And we're going to hang tight for just a moment while we wait for the judges to get ready for Nico. He might be. Certainly our most hyped member of the crowd right now.
And our judges are ready for Nico Hudson. Coming out of start 1. As he drops in, coming down the ridge. Skiing that ridge line just on the horizon line where we can see.
On the sun is out for Nico as well. Coming up
Right into the top of that, airing huge and shutting it down.
a really, high spot on the venue too. So a lot of terrain below him. What an exciting place to take his first air.
And it looks like he's going to go for a big chunk of our bottom pyramid. That was massive.
Off the Bermuda Triangle and into the corral he goes with a big
With
Cossack.
a big old Cossack.
Arm in the air. Nico is stoked.
The crowd was stoked for that one. I couldn't even hear myself talking.
Yeah, honestly, we're getting the vibes are elevating throughout the day here at the crowd. I think everyone's just getting more and more excited. Again, as we near the end of our ski men and ski women, these are the athletes that qualified with the highest points to be here in finals.
Yeah. And up next, we have Kira Livernoise from Big Sky, Montana. She is an independent athlete. She is dropping in at start 1, airing off the cornice.
Gonna keep it nice and smooth as she heads into the top nugget.
Catching some air as she moves down towards our lone rock air.
Looks like she's gonna bite off a chunk there on the side to her feet.
And work back towards our lower Jenga block.
I think we've got one more here from Kira.
As she airs off, squatting out that landing. Looks like she's going to work her way over to our second triangle rock with a 360 to her feet. Catching every air she can. Very smooth.
Making great use of the venue. We've seen a lot of athletes come out of the Jenga tower and just cook it into the bottom. But Kira said, I want one more, and I'm going to spin it. And I think, we might even have one more here.
Catching an air.
And into the corral she goes. A very successful run from Kira.
It's a very spinny family with her older brother Hayes, who competed in Challengers.
Absolutely. So
I think he's her coach for this event as well.
So fun to see Freeride as a whole family affair. Getting down to it, Tucker Pritchett will be our next athlete to drop. He's coming to you from the Crested Butte Freeride team. Okay, judges are ready for Tucker. Getting word that he's about to drop in now.
Coming out of start 1, going down the cornice, airing in. With a big 360 off that top nugget.
Looks like he's going to make his way with another 360 off the wind lip above the Jenga tower.
Using every air to his advantage, airing back into the chute, catching transition. I think we're going to see another poppy 3 off another wind lip.
3 for 3 on this 360s right now.
I think we got one more today. Big air to his feet.
And looping it back around. Little style shifty there through the midsection.
just working his way fluidly across the whole venue.
Coming into our final debris nugget here.
Big old safety grab into the finish corral.
A clean run from Tucker. 360s. Some fun, styly energy in it as well. And really getting down to the end of it here in our second day of finals. 2026 IFSA Junior Freeride Championship here at Kicking Horse.
Our last page.
Lily Cutler will be our next athlete from the Sugar Bowl ski team.
Coming out of start 1.
She had podiums this year at Kicking Horse and Taos.
So she has seen this area before. Let's see what she can do. Dropping in off the cornice, pointing straight down off the nugget. Looking towards the Jenga tower.
Making some swift turns there as she enters her approach.
Airing in. Oh, shutting down her speed.
Battling the chop in there, but not letting it slow her down because she is taking another air off the bottom tower of the Jenga tower.
Connecting all of the features. Not many of athletes have been able to do that. As she keeps it clean and smooth through this bottom section of the debris field, coming in towards our finish corral.
Nice carvy turns as she loops it into the corral. Sugar Bowl ski team athlete Lily Cutler into the corral.
And up next we got Bodie Hillicky. I am good friends with his older brother who was actually on tour this year, unfortunately ending his season with a knee injury, but I'm sure he's watching, supporting his brother from Aspen Valley Ski and Snowboard Club.
Another family affair of freeriding. Bodie's, coming to you from Aspen. He was first at Telluride this year and wants to give a big shout out to Oakley Rosengol and his mom and dad.
And I can tell you this last name definitely has some weight behind it. Their dad is a legend in many sports.
So just generations of freeriding coming in. We love to see it.
For sure.
So we're going to hang tight for just a moment while the judges get ready for Bodie, our 130th athlete of 144.
And our judges are ready for Bodie to drop in. Coming out of start 1.
Let's go, Bodie.
Let's see what Bodie can do. Airing in off the cornice, heading towards our top nugget. Get a nice safety grab.
Nice 360 over that wind lip there above the Jenga tower.
As he moves into our Jenga double, can he hold it together?
Wow, really had to hold that one on. You can see the traverse tracks in that landing, so difficult navigation there, but Bodie held on.
Unfortunately, I don't think he was able to get his second air like he wanted to, but still popping a 360 down here in the bottom. It is a difficult section there. It's very chundery with all of the traverse tracks and sections.
And a right side 360 on that bottom nugget too, so spinning in both directions.
Yeah, very impressive.
Bodie Hillicky in the bottom.
And up next we have Lucille Lambert out of the Jackson Hole Evolution team. My personal alma mater.
Very exciting. Lucille Lambert qualified 8th at qualifiers the other day. You know, I got to meet her down in Chile, and she is just an absolute gem of a human being. Really solid skier. Very excited to see what she has for us today.
Yeah. Dropping in off the cornice, airing in. Airing our top nugget.
Coming in to the Jenga tower section. Coming into that lone Jenga block. Lookers left. Clean air looping it. Oh no!
Unfortunately, getting a little bit caught up and spinning out in her landing. Unfortunately, she went down, but picking up her gear and will finish her run out into the corral.
She's going to make some turns and head in safely to the corral. Definitely a disappointment, but you know, Lucille is such a strong skier. I'm sure we are going to be seeing more of her in the future.
Absolutely. And her coach, actually, another coach of mine, Eric Space, wanted me to shout out Max Martin, who loved kicking horse. It was very near and dear to his heart, unfortunately passing away in Japan this year. And he just wanted to tell every athlete out here to ski to the max for Max.
All right, Lucille safely in the finish corral. We are going to head to our next ski male, the 6th to qualify here at finals today, Kai Sawyer from the Whistler Freeride Club. Kai was 3rd this year at the Whistler 3-star. So, representing his club, I think we're going to see some exciting skiing out of our young U19 ski men. He wants to give a big shout out to his mom and dad, and another shout out to all of the parents here supporting their athletes at Kicking Horse JFC, or whether you are watching from home, all the parents that are supporting all of our Freeride junior athletes.
And our judges are ready for Kai. Coming out of start 1. So we are putting our eyes to the sky as Kai drops in off of the cornice, heading straight towards the second nugget with a big 360. Holding it together as he comes on top of our lone rock.
And landing the lone rock
with another huge 360, backslapping the landing, but holding it together and all.
A little bit of a loose run from Kai, but he certainly sent it and went for it at full amplitude.
Yeah, 2 massive airs, 2 big 360s, couple backslaps, but he is at the bottom after a great finals run.
And sometimes that is just how it goes. So we're going to catch one more air here for Kai as he loops it into the corral. All right, our next athlete, Addison Brooks, coming to you from Mad River Glen Free Ski Team. I actually used to coach her when I was an MRG coach, and she was a U12 athlete. So to see her all the way here at JFC, I'm so excited to watch what she's going to do today.
And she is dropping it out of start 2, coming in over the cornice.
Showing off some clean skiing so far from Addison, coming up over the nugget and onto her. Ripping some turns here. And another taker for the Jenga tower, it looks like. Coming off our lone block here.
Catching some air.
Little bit of a washout, but she's up and moving again.
Like she's heading towards our bottom Jenga block, catching some air. Skiing clean out the bottom of that one.
You know, she had a really solid 360 in her qualifying run, and I remember when she was a U12 athlete watching her go for her first spins, and just it felt like such a full circle freeride moment to be like, wow, I remember working on that with her when she was so young, and to watch her do that trick in qualifiers, I'm a big fan. So Addison catching some more style air off this bottom section here. One more taker for the debris chunk here. Little shifty. Oh, unfortunately, losing a ski in the bottom. That
heartbreaker moment.
Head tap, though, so she is okay. Unfortunately, that will be a DNF for Addison, so she will not receive a score. But big shout out to Addison, her older sister Kaylin, the whole Brooks family, and the whole Mad River Glen free ski team. I'm, born from ice, East Coaster through and through. I think I'm a little biased towards our East Coast friends.
Well, that's where you're from. It's what you got to be.
And we'll let Addison grab her ski here. And she was our 7th athlete to qualify for finals here.
We're going to move back into our Panel B U19 ski men. Mason Heflin.
Mason.
And if you're just joining us now, we are almost through our final categories of the Junior Freeride Championship here at Kicking Horse Mountain Resort.
11 more athletes to go, including Mason. He is from the Team Breckenridge, so coming to you from Colorado. And another shout out to his parents. And we will be ready momentarily once the judges are ready to drop Mason. Okay, judges are ready for Mason Heflin, bib 234, Team Breckenridge.
Coming out of start one, dropping in off the cornice. Getting the grab off of the cornice.
Into the nugget with a nice clean air.
Popping a massive 360 over that wind lip.
Going huge and back on his feet as we see him pop back around. And looks like he's going to grab one more here on the Jenga tower.
With another spin, spinning both directions.
Absolutely, that was a right side 360 on that one.
So 2 huge 360s, a very unique way to take that line off that venue.
That was huge. That was really exciting. Definitely kept us on our toes. One more little bop there off the debris nugget, and Mason is going to loop it into the corral. Arms in the air. He is thrilled with that run.
Catch and transition on all of those airs, going huge.
He qualified 5th for finals today, so only one of 5 ski men left, and a solid place to be sitting in 5th right now.
Especially with a strong run like that.
I think the judges are going to be stoked on that one, but back up to the top, Maya Strong, Crystal Mountain freerider on course with an air as she makes her way to the looker's left side of the venue.
Working her way over on top of our salt and pepper section, looking for this side hit air right here. Popping it up and over the rocks, keeping the control in that landing.
Maya coming into our salt and pepper section above the Bermuda Triangle. It's looking a little chopped over there, but Maya is not letting it show in her turns.
Yeah, moving towards our bottom Bermuda Triangle there. Lining it up as she takes off the nose of our Bermuda Triangle.
Clean.
Catching some good air and keeping it smooth in the landing.
Oh, yeah. Clean air for Maya as she navigates her way into the midsection here, coming through the debris field. ripping some turns, making her way to the corral. Maya Strong qualified 6th for finals today. So really getting down to the wire, just a handful of athletes left.
Yeah, we are really getting down there. We've had so many amazing runs, but these are all our top qualifiers coming up here very soon.
We've had a lot of really successful runs today, Wyatt. You know, we've seen, I think the majority of the field put down the runs that they were hoping for, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, and these athletes, they're up there, and a lot of athletes that qualified lower, they might be putting everything they can on the line so they can move up in the rankings. And now these top athletes have to think about that, wondering maybe if I should spin this air that I was planning on straight airing while watching these other riders put down very clean heater runs.
It definitely is a strategy. And you know, that's interesting you say that because I always am under the impression that you don't want to change your line last minute, but sometimes you do have to put a little final tweak in to really put the whole picture together.
Yeah, I try not to do anything that I wasn't planning, but if it has been a thought and I did think about it while I was on my inspection lap, then that's when I can change my line while I am at the top in my start gate.
That's a really good strategy there. I like that, Wyatt. So not pulling something out of left field, but pulling an idea that was maybe already on the radar.
Yeah.
All right, Miles Engel from Vail Ski and Snowboard Club, Colorado, is going to be our next athlete to drop.
Aaron Lana off the cornice, went towards a massive 360 up and over the ridge, pointing it through that couloir, moving fast, hitting a big mogul there. Unfortunately, coming to a crash, losing a ski, looking for the head tap.
Oh, yeah, it looks like, you know, he really just came out of there with too much speed to be able to navigate that chop. So he came out super fast. Did, you know, such an impressive job holding on for as long as he did, but unfortunately did lose a shoe, so will receive a DNF.
Yeah, that was a very heavy move to throw atop of those rocks, especially when you're trying to shut it back down and air back into that chute. And that chute is not easy because it is mogully through there. That is a very heavily used run in the day-to-day of this mountain.
So we will give Miles just a moment to get his gear back on and ski down, and then we will jump back over to panel A for our next ski female athlete. Alrighty, our next athlete is going to be Ruby Chechu from the Telluride Ski and Snowboard Club.
We're going to start one.
She qualified 5th to be here today, so only 5 ski women left, Ruby being one of them. She's on course now.
Aaron off the cornice and heading towards our looker left side of the venue, coming over that ridge there. Working over towards the top of the salt and pepper section. Not as much action as we saw yesterday, but still some strong runs coming out of this venue. Side.
Absolutely. Ruby making quick, solid use of this top section here, really laying down these powerful turns.
Working through the salt and pepper area. As she's hopping up and over salt and pepper, looking towards the bottom of our Bermuda Triangle section.
Another little air there. She heads into the Bermuda Triangle.
Lining up her bottom air, taking it off the nose, and stomping it.
I feel like her skiing through that whole section was just really consistent. She kept a nice pace. She had nice turns throughout it. Her body stance was just strong and balanced. That was very consistent riding out of Ruby from Colorado.
Yeah, great Ruby. Great run from Ruby. And our next athlete King Iben from Revelstoke Ski Club Freeride team.
King
He's actually competing with a broken toe.
with a broken toe.
Yeah, he broke his big toe a couple weeks ago, and it's in 4 pieces.
Oh my goodness. Okay. But clearly hasn't faced him too much because he qualified 3rd to be here in finals today.
Yeah, Aaron off the cornice. Aaron big up over the ridge there. He's going to line up this middle cliff feature back into the chute, going straight off the nose. Unfortunately, a little bit too much of an impact there. And he is having a big tumble. Hopefully he is okay.
All right, while we see some movement out of King, we are going to get our safety team over to him quickly. And we're going to hang tight for just a moment, and we will be back shortly.
Waiting on the edge of this moment, holding out for something golden. Found a light on a hill. I was waking up, looking for peace in a world that's divided. Gotta hold on tight when you find it. I was turning around, I was waking up. You're pulling me right in, rotate to you again. I'll live the rest of my life by your side. I wanna stay here forever, playing it all like the radio. Don't see how it could be better. All I know is don't let go. Stuck in a head rush about it, we're spinning fast through the
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Patrol was able to successfully get King off the venue safely, so they are attending to him now, and he is in good hands. Thank you all for hanging tight.
Yes, thank you. Very brutal crash, but he is now with Patrol. We are having a few ninjas come down and clear the pad that they created for King, and then we will be back.
And we only have 6 athletes left today, so we have 4 more ski women and 2 more ski men. So we're going to keep the ball rolling today. Shout out to all the athletes that are hanging tight and everyone that is just really coming here to support the Freeride event we have today, our second day of finals at the 2026 IFSA Junior Freeride Championship. And yet we can see the ninjas on course right now, just making their way down, making sure that the venue is going to be nice and safe for the next 6 athletes to drop. So we've had a really successful team of ninjas and support staff and truly an army of volunteers that have come out to make this event possible today. And all week, honestly. Not just today, but thank you to all the volunteers that have showed up all week.
Yes.
So it looks like right now that they're just stomping out the pad that they used to load King up. So just making sure that there's no, giant divot in the snow that could really trip someone up as they come out of the Bermuda Triangle.
Making sure all of our other athletes can ski out of their lines cleanly if they go in there.
Exactly. And that's, a call that the technical director makes and says, hey, make sure we get some people back in there to smooth that out. So big shout out to Jeff Holden for making the event continuous and safe and clean, and yeah, we're really getting down to it. So we're going to hang tight just momentarily as we get ready for the next athlete to drop. All right, our ninjas are down through the corral. So panel A is ready for our next athlete, Gemma Leishman, coming to you from the Whitewater Freeride team.
And she is going to be coming out of start 1, dropping off the cornice.
Dropping. Here comes Gemma.
Airing in.
Catching some
Airing
nice.
up and over onto the ridge as she moves down towards this bottom cliff.
Catching another smooth air to her feet, heading up into the salt and pepper section. Looks like we got another taker for that hip there.
Stomping it clean as she moves into our salt and pepper section, moving in.
Oh,
and
wow.
being able to self-arrest on top of that cliff.
Wow, yeah. Really being able to stop herself before she headed over what could have been some consequential terrain. So showing quick reaction time and really smart on-the-spot decision-making process from Gemma. Unfortunately, she did lose a shoe, so she will not receive a score, but it looks like she's going to get it back on and safely make her way down.
Yeah, that was very key for her to be able to shut it down with losing that ski above all of that consequential terrain there. So Very glad that she was able to do that.
Yeah, and self-arrest, we've mentioned over the last week, is a skill that athletes can use to get their feet underneath them and slow themselves down and even come to a stop to make sure that they don't slide too far. So Gemma did a really good job self-arresting.
And it's really easy to not stop when you're in this steep, firm conditions.
Especially, yeah, as she was heading into the Bermuda Triangle.
And it kind of seems like she had to move across it on one ski and be able to put it on before dropping in and heading down to the corral.
Yeah, really quick reaction time out of Gemma. So I think we're proud to see that, even though it wasn't the run that she had hoped. That was really quick technical work there from Gemma. So we only have 5 athletes left. Our second to last ski men, which means he qualified second for finals, is Brooks Miller from the Crested Butte Mountain Sports Team.
And Brooks is coming out of start 1, coming off of the cornice, airing in, heading over towards our ridge gap with a big 360 and being able to shut it down before that next cliff.
Absolutely, and coming in to this cliff here.
With another 360 off the cliff.
And you know, that one was a left side and his first one was right. So spinning in both directions so far from Brooks, and he's still at the top of the venue.
Working through the salt and pepper section with some very controlled turns here as he lines up his bottom air.
Lining it up right to the takeoff there of the Bermuda Triangle.
With another huge 360 to his feet and skiing out clean after 3 very technical 360s in very key places.
Oh, that was so awesome. The crowd loved it. Brooks is stoked, and he's getting all the hugs from the homies in the bottom. Congrats to Brooks for a very exciting line.
And we are dropping in Savannah Ramsey, our 3rd place qualifier from Monday.
Savannah's coming to you from the Park City Ski and Snowboard Freeride team. And 3, 2, 1, here she comes.
Coming off the cornice and heading into the middle of Whitewall here. Behind this big wall with the 360 up and over on the ridge.
Following in the foot of Brooks, she's coming into another cliff here. Gonna make a turn and catch some nice little air there. She makes her way across the looker's left side of the venue. Putting down some clean turns here in this section that, again, is quite choppy. Definitely skied out.
Catching some air up in the salt and pepper section. Working down towards the Bermuda Triangle.
Really lining up exactly where she wants to take off here from the triangle. We know there are quite a few different entrances athletes can take to get some air, and Savannah taking it nice and clean to her feet. Coming in with some
Straight lining
speed.
it all the way into the venue. Into the finish corral.
A successful run for Savannah Ramsey from Park City. All right, 3 athletes left. This is going to be our first qualifier from our qualifying day here at finals. Seamus O'Neill representing the Mad River Glen Freeride team. He was first at the Snowbird 3-star this year and won all of his 3 stars last year. So really excited to see what Seamus has today. He is a name that has popped up more than once in Freeride.
Definitely has.
And representing the East Coast too. Again, as an East Coaster myself, I'm a little biased and I get so excited to see our East Coasters come out and just absolutely show up for Freeride. You know, I think the East Coast gets a bit of a bad rep sometimes, and sometimes it's deserving, but there is quite a bit of terrain to still train Big Mountain on there. So Seamus really delivering and showing off and representing Vermont.
Yeah, as our first place qualifier from Monday, excited to see what he can do on white wall here.
So we're just waiting to hear that the judges are ready. This is going to be our last athlete from panel B, and then only 2 more ski women to follow. So really getting down to the wire here. It's been such an exciting day of competition.
It really has. We've seen everything from cork 7s off cliffs to very big falls that are scary.
Absolutely, and we've seen some really strong turns and good airs. We've seen so many 360s that have been so fun to watch. But yeah, I think my 2 favorite tricks over the last couple days were Ryan Lapp's cork 7 over the Lone Rock and Riley Watson's cork 7 in the qualifying day. U15 ski women.
Yeah, both incredible.
Those are going to live
Incredible
rent-free in my memory bank for a long time. I'm thrilled about it.
Absolutely.
So just hanging tight here while we wait for panel B. Alrighty, panel B is ready for Seamus. Big bib 37, Mad River Glen free ski athlete.
Getting ready to drop our top qualifier from Monday. Dropping in off the corners, heading towards the middle part of Whitewall with a 360 off that top nugget, heading straight over with another 3 onto the ridge above the Jenga tower.
Showing off some really calculated lines here in the top as he comes up to the Jenga tower. Nice drip off, maybe a little bit of a control issue, but it's not slowing him down because he has another huge left side 360.
A little backslap in the landing, but holding on to it and skiing it out.
And you know, we saw a lot of athletes drip off that top tower of the Jenga tower, and Seamus did such a good job controlling it. One more left side 360 for good measure.
I think that might have been the most controlled double out of anyone.
Exactly. That's what I was getting to, is we've seen a lot of athletes have major control issues up there. So really excited to see Seamus put that down with 4 360s in that run.
Yeah, incredible run by our final 2 ski men athletes. And we are moving straight back to our panel A.
Next athlete is going to be Kiana Swim from the Sugar Bowl Academy.
And she is dropping in off the corners out of start 1, heading towards the middle of White Wall.
Our second athlete to qualify for finals here, coming up off the nugget to her feet and making her way towards the Jenga tower.
Skiing really fast, coming up on top of this lone Jenga block. Looks like she's going to go straight down off the nose of it. Having to shut it down before she comes over below the Jenga tower and heading towards our bottom Jenga block.
Yeah, taking a nice clean entrance into the Jenga tower so she can line it up and go straight off the nose.
Straight to her feet as well.
Absolutely massive. You know, I don't think we've seen any of the women take that same trajectory on that lower Jenga tower block, because that was huge.
I think that's the only person to take that trajectory today with going directly down at us.
Absolutely. Kiana Swim holding it down for the ladies as she makes her way into the corral.
And with that incredible run, our judges are going to take a few minutes to judge that run and prepare for our last athlete of the Junior Freeride Championships.
100%. Our final athlete of the day is going to be Hannah Webb. She's coming to you from Team Summit, Colorado. She was 4th last year at JFC, so we're going to take just a moment while our judges get ready, and we will come back to you with Hannah Webb.
All right, our judges just gave the call that they are ready for Hannah Webb, our final athlete of the day from Team Summit, Colorado.
Hannah Webb qualified first to be here at finals today. So sitting in that top spot right now, going to see if she's going to claim it, what's going to happen. It's, really been an exciting day of skiing. And here comes our final athlete, U19 ski women.
All right, dropping out of start 1, heading out to our lookers left side of the venue, going to take the air up and over onto the ridge, heading straight down towards this next meaty cliff.
Staying nice and controlled here. She comes into this air.
Lines it up and takes it into that chute, keeping it clean and controlled.
Another air there for Hannah, really building that line score.
Yeah, looking towards our salt and pepper section as it's above of the Bermuda Triangle, headed down towards that center cliff.
Definitely another taker here for the Bermuda Triangle. Hannah comes up and over and to her feet.
With zero hesitation, up and over that cliff, super clean, into the finish corral as our final athlete of the Junior Freeride Championships.
And what a successful day it was of skiing here. Our second day of finals. We didn't quite get to finish all the athletes yesterday, so what an exciting day to bring all of the athletes together here at finals. So we want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're down at the lodge, you're here in person, or you're watching from your couch at home. We are so thrilled to have you participate in Freeride. We want to give another huge shout out to all of our sponsors.
Yeah, we got Helly Hansen, Head Tyrolia, Giro, 3M Thinsulate, 3M Scotchgard, GoPro, BCA, and of course, the beautiful Kicking Horse Mountain Resort for making this all possible and everything we have done this week so far.
Absolutely. Yep. Huge shout out to Kicking Horse, their whole team, their army of volunteers that have made this happen, all of the athletes, the parents, the whole IFSA team, and certainly every single one of the athletes. We will be doing awards down at the Day Lodge at 4 p.m., so hopefully those that are here in person will see you there. My name is Rachel Shannon.
I'm Wyatt Gentry.
And we'll see you next time.